This year I've been prouder than ever to represent Illinois' 5th District. 2022 began with the opportunity to reflect on the one-year anniversary of the attack on our nation's capital. I was in the House chambers on January 6, 2021, and I was grateful to start the year by sharing my memories from that day and my gratitude for the law enforcement who helped protect me and my colleagues.
I was never more proud at that moment to walk alongside all of you. It reminds me that we have to walk alongside and help guide our country away from darkness as we walk together into that bright light of our democracy.
As our country continued to heal from this attack, Democrats have been fighting for the American people. I was proud to introduce 4 bills in 2022 and have 6 bills signed into law by President Biden this year.
The resolution is agreed to, and without objection, the motion reconsider is laid on the table.
We have a special community, and I've seen firsthand what we need to do to make it safer and more prosperous place to live. That's why I was proud to bring home more than $15 million to fund 15 projects in our district. From extending the 606 Trail and supporting the AIDS Foundation in Chicago, each project will make a measurable difference for our community. At the end of 2021, President Biden signed my bill, Act for ALS, into law.
God willing, we're going to make real progress.
A vital step towards finding treatments and a cure for ALS. But the work didn't end there. In response, NIH created grants this year to make promising new drugs available to people living with ALS. And I ensured that $80 million was set aside in the FY23 appropriation bills to implement Act for ALS.
Some of the research that this will create for ALS is going to help us understand and help solve the puzzle for Parkinson's, for Alzheimer's, for MS, and things we can't even imagine.
Most recently, the Senate passed my bill, the Big Cat Public Safety Act.
It is inherently inhuman to keep big cats in private residence, and is inherently dangerous.
This was one of the most bipartisan bills passed this Congress. For too long, lax laws allowed private citizens to own and interact with dangerous wild animals like lions and tigers. Thanks to my legislation, these animals will now be safer, and so will our first responders. Amidst our domestic successes, I've been horrified by Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine. In July, I traveled to Ukraine personally to meet with President Zelensky and bear firsthand witness to the situation on the ground.
When we met with the members of the Rada, they told us that such weaponry is humanitarian aid. The only way to keep their people from being killed and the atrocities that Putin has completed through his army is through aid. So I would give them what they need to finish the job.
As the representative of a robust Ukrainian-American community, I promised him that the U.S. would not give up until Putin ends his invasion, and I intend to keep that promise. Over the past year, Democrats have passed historic legislation that will tackle climate change, affirm LGBTQ and women's rights, and protect communities from gun violence. Earlier this year, I was proud to vote for 2 bills to codify women's rights and provide access to reproductive services like abortion and contraception.
Anti-abortion extremists go so far as to try to tell D.C. taxpayers that they cannot make their own decisions about whether to support access to reproductive care. I'm here to say that D.C. citizens shouldn't be bullied by extremists pushing an ideological agenda.
In June, I joined my colleagues in passing gun reform legislation to fund state red flag laws, enhance background checks, and provide mental health services and community-based violence prevention.
Not everyone should get any kind of weapon they want and have it anywhere they want. This is what we're speaking to.
In August, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, a once-in-a-generation bill to invest in clean energy, cut costs for everyday Americans, and lower prescription drug prices.
This is going to help everyday Americans reduce their energy costs, be healthier, fight climate change.
And just this month, we passed the Respect for Marriage Act. the first major LGBTQ plus civil rights legislation to be signed into law in almost a decade. Looking ahead to the 118th Congress, I'm determined to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to get even more things done for the people of Illinois' 5th District. It's an honor to serve you. Happy New Year.